point to rational solutions. While the neocons demonize progress and change, we embrace smart alternatives. While the obstructionists build walls, we work to build bridges. Welcome to the future of your progressive voice. Based in Dallas and now streaming the globe, Rational Radio 2.0 is rationalbroadcasting.com.
And good afternoon. It is December 2nd, 2011. My in-studio guest today for Just Keep Breathing, entertainer, actress, model, Crystal Summers.
Hello, how are you?
Very good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
For Just Keep Breathing today, we're going to talk to Crystal Summers. We're going to find out a little bit of some stuff that you may know, that you may not know, and some things that you want to know. If you have a question for Crystal, you can call us at 1-800-277-1637, extension 703. The local number, 214.
Local number's dead.
Local number is dead. Well, call us at 1-800-277-1637, extension
Did you not get the
703.
memo about how to receive calls now?
No.
You see that cell phone in your nose?
Yes?
Yeah, that's how people are calling us now.
Lovely.
We're working out the kinks.
Very good. Okay. Well, we're going to find out some things about Crystal Summers that we may not know, and we're going to start right now. Crystal, what's your favorite color?
Blue.
Where were you born?
In Laurel, Mississippi.
What's your favorite junk food?
Pizza.
What's your favorite shoe designer?
Christian Louboutin.
What's your favorite movie?
The Goonies.
You're kidding.
Why do you think that's funny?
I just think it's funny. The Goonies, really?
That is my all-time favorite movie. It really is. My dad even had a copy of it, like, back when I was a kid, that he had gone through and erased all of the cuss words out of it for me.
Really?
Yeah.
My favorite singer is Cyndi Lauper. I love Cyndi Lauper.
She's in that, yeah.
And she's in that.
Uh-huh.
Do you have a lucky number?
Not really, but I like 7.
When was the last time you were in a men's locker room?
I really can't even remember. I would like to say maybe high school, but I don't even remember going in it then. I was too scared.
Facebook or Twitter?
Twitter.
What's your cup size?
36 double D.
36 double D. You got to get boobs for Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. My new single is out right now on YouTube, Amazon, and
iTunes.
Available for download on iTunes. This is the GC free version, which is George Carlin free version. And you're listening to Richard Curtin's new single, Boobs for Christmas.
When the holiday approaches, I am filled with apprehension. Family and friends provide my only invitation. My lack of social invites causes non-coitic tension. I haven't had a date since the Clinton administration. I asked my mother, why can't I get hooked? I can't help feeling like I'm overlooked. She said, your sister blossomed late. I cried, Mom, I'm 38. I think I'll get boobs for Christmas. Compared to other girls out on the beaches, my chest looks like I've got 2 bits of peaches. When the top of your bikini sports a label that says teeny, ya oughta get boobs for Christmas. Girls whose parents think they can be trusted are girls who really aren't heavy busted. A checker asked me why I needed tissue. Like 40 boxes ought to be an issue. I won't pretend that I'm not packing. My rack is just so lacking. I really need boobs for Christmas. I went out with the girls to meet some men. I hadn't had a drink since who knows when. But when you flirt with the bartender and he asks, so what's your gender? You gotta get boobs for Christmas. Boys don't want to offer you their pity. Boys want you to show them something pretty.
Not itty bitty.
Surgeons make this observation when suggesting implantation. Suitors' glances aren't salacious if your tatas aren't bodacious. You gotta get boobs. You gotta get boobs. You gotta get yabalicious, big maracas, chi-chis, hooters, buxom knockers, ample cleavage, heavy hangers, bosom bombers, bumpers, bangers, boobs. You gotta get boobs, 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 boobs for Christmas. Santa baby, don't bring sable coats, convertibles, or rings or boats. I have only one request. Under my tree, leave big berets. And Santa, don't worry about getting them too big. If you can't stuff them down the chimney, they're perfect. Boobs, there's no denying boobs. That guys are eyeing boobs. Glorious boobs, marvelous boobs. For Christmas, I wanna get
Yay! Boobs for Christmas, kicking off the holiday, the holiday season.
I love it.
Boobs for Christmas. You can find it on Amazon, YouTube, and iTunes. And you can find it on my website, richarddcurtin.com. How can we find you?
How can you find me?
Yeah.
You can find me at the Rose Room.
And you're you prefer now Twitter over Facebook.
I still do both, but I just really enjoy Twitter a lot more than Facebook, I think.
What is it about Twitter that you prefer over Facebook?
I don't really know. I can't put my finger on it. I just like that people just kind of say whatever they're doing or whatever they're thinking. They just put it out there on Facebook. I feel like it's like you probably should only post like once a day or something.
And I find that the hardest part is I don't really want people to know exactly how I feel on Twitter, and so I feel a little guarded sometimes. And then when I do put something out there that is like really real,
Yeah.
like did you see mine last night?
Yes.
Just and
Entitled.
then and then I look at it and think, now I'm gonna have to have 4 or 5 people ask me exactly what it means and what happened, especially Cassie Nova, because she's the nosiest bitch in the world.
She hearts to know what's going on with everything. Yeah.
So I find that a little difficult. You don't find an intrusion on your privacy at all?
No, because if I don't want anybody to know something, I definitely don't put it on there. I think that's part of the fun in it, is especially like when you've been drinking and you get on there and you tweet something really awful and then it's out there. So.
And it's out there forever.
Yeah.
Do you have a tweet that you wish that you hadn't tweeted?
I think there was one night I was watching The Real Housewives of Orange County, and I had been drinking, and I started tweeting ugly things to each of them, and I kind of wish I wouldn't have done that because that was a little pointless and rude. But
And so you're a big fan of the Beverly Hills.
yes,
The
I love all
Housewives
the
of-
housewife shows.
Do you like the one in Atlanta?
Yeah, they're a little ghetto for my taste, but I still like them. I still watch it.
I find it very difficult to watch that one. I do.
It's a little funny to me. I mean, like,
I feel like they catch Nene in a lie every episode.
yeah, but it's like they're all like trying to be something they're not. Like they're all. I see them carrying these expensive bags that they can't afford. And
Did you see the one where Nene went and looked at this $9 million home
Oh,
in
yeah.
Miami?
Yeah, right after Sheree had told her that she needed to get her teeth fixed or something. Yeah.
She told her that she was rich.
Yeah. She goes, I'm rich.
Who's your favorite character on the Beverly Hills Housewives?
Adrienne Maloof. I think she's probably the most grounded, and like she's successful in her own right. She, her and her family own the Palms in Vegas, and she seems to always be the most grounded one on there. Like, she hasn't made herself look like a fool yet.
And who's made themselves the biggest fool?
On that one?
Yeah, Taylor.
Taylor, yeah. I mean, that's already hard to watch her knowing that he's dead now. I mean, that's really hard to watch already. But I used to like Kyle, but she's kind of become annoying this season.
So did he hit her?
I don't know. I think he probably did if she told her friends that he did, and she probably just doesn't want people to know now. If she
And now
said
he's
it-
dead.
Yeah, so
And yeah, now he's dead, and he killed himself, didn't he?
yeah. I think he hung himself.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That's awful.
I have just now started watching it, and I'm amazed at that the entitlement is trickling up to the people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy. Gotta have boobs. Do you like your boobies?
I do. I'm thinking about getting them smaller though.
And so, what's your favorite thing about boobies?
Their power.
Are they power?
Yeah, their power.
And how do you use that power for good?
Oh my God. I use it to get free alcohol.
You're listening to Just Keep Breathing. My in-studio guest is Crystal Summers. We're going to be talking more about boobs when we come back. Please stick around and follow us on Ustream, and you can find us on rationalbroadcasting.com. We'll be right back.
To make a bull paw the earth and mutter.
Has your computer been slowing down? Are you having problems with your email? Or when you go to the internet, is your browser taking so long to load that it seems like the worldwide wait? I'm Luke Ford, CEO of My Computer Works. We help people just like you with computer problems you can't fix. With one easy call, we can help you get your computer working the way you want it, speeding it back up, making sure you can send and receive emails, and making the internet fun again. You'll speak to a US-based technician who knows what they're doing, who can usually fix your computer on the very first call. If your computer's been slowing down, you can't get your email to work, your internet's taking forever, or if you're not sure what's wrong, but your computer's just not working the way you want it, call My Computer Works, and we'll help you fast. Here's the number to call, 1-800-646-1590. 1-800-646-1590. Toll free, that's 1-800-646-1590.
Stay tuned for a 1,000,000 bottle giveaway announcement. Do you have troubled skin, acne? Well, against the better judgment of our management team, we're going to prove to you once and for all that Proactive works. So if you want to try it, give us a call, because we're going to let 1,000,000 people try Proactive and receive our legendary refining face mask free if you call right now.
You heard it. Be one of the first callers and you'll receive a 60-day trial of Proactive Solution risk-free, plus a free refining face mask when you call 1-800-827-9143.
Proactive's combination therapy system uses prescription-grade acne medicine and soothing spa-quality botanicals to create a powerful acne-fighting system. It's so effective it transforms blemishes and bumps into clear, smooth skin.
You can have beautiful, healthy-looking skin. Put us to the test and we'll prove it. Get your risk-free 60-day trial plus a free refining face mask. Call toll-free now, 1-800-827-9143. That's 1-800-827-9143.
Hi, I'm Rick Vanderslice, inviting you to join me streaming live every weekday afternoon at 2 o'clock Central from our studios in Dallas for Conversations with Rick Vanderslice. Joining me daily for our conversation, veteran broadcaster and social activist Trevor Lay over Skype from Pittsburgh, cultural critic John Janusa, political activist John Seelig, broadcaster and arts critic Kevin Sutton, all in Dallas, and you're invited to join the conversation too. Conversations with Rick Vanderslice daily on RationalBroadcasting.com.
With the end of Air America, it seems that all that is available in talk radio is ultra-right-wing thought. We are the alternative. RationalBroadcasting.com brings progressive ideas, and we want to hear from you. If you like what you hear, contact us at 214-631-1360 or toll free at 800-277-1637, extension 703. Sign up for our Ustream chat at Ustream, search Rational Broadcasting, or at our homepage. Also, follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter name is Rational_Talk. We are RationalBroadcasting.com, and we are the talk you've been missing.
Take this pink ribbon off my eyes. I'm exposed and it's no big surprise. Don't you think I know exactly where I stand? This world is forcing me to hold your hand, 'cause I'm just a girl.
And welcome back. You're listening to RationalBroadcasting.com. This is Just Keep Breathing. I am Richard Curtin, and my in-studio guest today is the one and only Crystal Summers.
Hello, hello.
Let's play a quick question. How many siblings do you have?
I have one brother.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla.
Vanilla or strawberry?
Strawberry.
What is your natural hair color?
Sandy blonde.
Do you ever dream of your former identity?
I do not.
When going to a boyfriend's mother's house for a potluck dinner, what do you prepare?
First off, I don't have a boyfriend, but if I did, the only thing I know how to cook is peach cobbler.
What is
we have a winner.
What is your favorite alcoholic beverage?
Vodka.
What is the one thing you can't live without?
Vodka.
Let's talk about Laurel, Mississippi.
Oh, gosh.
You were born in Laurel, Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like growing up in Laurel, Mississippi? In fact, how big is Laurel, Mississippi? And it's...
I don't even know, like, how many people live there. It's just, it's a really, really small town now. It's, I don't know, I hate to say, like, it just seems so backwards from what I think places should be. But, you know, I had a great home life with my family. You know, I come from a great family, but it's very Christian Southern Baptist town. There's a church literally, I swear, on every corner. And
are they all Baptist?
A good percentage of them are. Like, and you know, and the Baptist people there, you know, it's very bad to be anything other than a Baptist. So, you know, I was kind of brought up, it's bad to dance, it was bad to drink, you know, even a glass of wine with dinner. I was brought up very strict.
And that's a strict evangelical Christian.
Yes.
And not very many people know that you played the organ in your church.
I did.
And for how long did you do that?
Well, I was the pianist for a while, and then I played the organ probably all the way through high school up until probably my first year or two in college. I remember getting my first set of implants. It started becoming challenging to go to church on Sunday morning and hide them so that I could still play the church. So finally play the organ. So I finally just kind of stopped going.
Do you miss it?
I do miss playing the organ a lot. I actually had a dream about it last night. That's weird you say that. Like, I had a dream about playing at my church, but I was playing as I am now at my church. It was weird.
And so do you feel like you can't do that?
No, I don't feel like I can't do it. I just kind of haven't done it. I mean, I kind of get a little concerned that if I got into a place of doing that again, like at a church, that there might be an issue if someone found out about me or what I do, that might be an issue, and I just don't really want to deal with it. So. And so
how challenging was making a transition from church organist to nighttime performer?
Well, I guess, when I was in college, I was a music major, and I always wanted to be a vocal performer and a pianist and organist. And it just kind of was, I felt like I couldn't do that anymore after my transition. So this was kind of like my outlet to still be performing and entertaining. So.
And be creative?
Yes, it was like my creative outlet that I just kind of naturally went over to this side.
What was high school like for you?
Awful. High school was awful. The only thing that got me through high school was music. Like, I was involved in all the musical groups. I was involved in music in high school before it was cool, like before Glee and like all of that. I played the piano for all the high school groups. If I hadn't have been so centered and focused on that going through high school, I wouldn't have made it, because I got teased relentlessly. So it was pretty bad. Like, I wouldn't even go to lunch because of the comments that I would get just walking down the sidewalk at lunch and stuff.
And what kind of comments?
Anything you can think of. Like, they would take some takes. I mean, some different my name before they would make little fun. I don't know.
Yeah, they would
change it up.
They would turn your name into something gay.
Yeah, and just stupid little things, like you still like knocking your books out of your hand, and the limp wrist motion. They loved to say that I had sugar in my tank, and I got dumped in a garbage can one time. It was just it was literally, though, every single day, and it was some of the same people every day. It was like they never got tired of it. I kept thinking they would get tired of it one day, and they never did. Up until the day I left.
Did anything ever happen to you where you were seriously injured?
No.
So this is all really light physical abuse.
Yes.
and severe mental abuse.
Yeah, it was, and and I never really talked about it or told on them. I never even told my parents about it because I was just so embarrassed. So I just kind of kept it to myself all the way, through high school. And
so it was your embarrassment. What were you most embarrassed about?
Well, I mean, I was already struggling with, myself as it was, and I didn't know it was even a possibility at that point in my life to become who I am now. And so, I'm already dealing with all this in my head, and I don't want my parents to know because I knew they would freak out. And that's another reason why I didn't ever tell them that people were teasing me, because I just tried to act like it was just not ever happening. Like, oh, this is not happening. If I don't talk about it, it's not really happening. So.
And if you don't acknowledge it, it may not ever happen again.
Right.
How old were you when you first thought, I'm a girl?
Probably 5 or 6. I always tell people, it's funny, I always remember, going to church camp. I would be forced to go to an all-boy church camp every summer, and the biggest thing for me was when they would split off in teams to play shirts and skins. I would get so upset if I had to be on the skins team, because I felt like I was running around without my top on in front of all these boys, and I could never seem to explain that to anyone why I couldn't be on the skins team. But it's been as long as I can remember, I guess.
And were you ever on the skins team?
I threw a fit to the point where I started crying, and they didn't make me do it. But I think I did have to do it one time, but I threw such a fit about it, they let me sit out. So I was a brat even back then.
If you could go back to your childhood and change an element, what would it be?
I don't Well, things are so, I know things are still difficult now, but they're so different from when I was growing up. If I could go back to my childhood, I would have started my transition, like, probably, you know, during puberty. You know, caught that with some hormones and stuff, like, back in the day. I mean, I think it's a little more accepted to be who you are now than it was when I was growing up. I mean, when I was growing up, it was just unheard of to, you know, just to even be gay, much less transgender. That was just, yeah, you just didn't do that. You didn't talk about it. You didn't, you know, very bad.
When you look back at your childhood in Laurel, Mississippi, do you ever think, oh my God, how could anybody not know?
No, I mean, it's funny now because I'll have people, you know, this is the great thing about Facebook and Twitter. People find you from your past, and so many people, that's the first thing they always say is, oh, I always knew. I mean, or, you know, we always knew this is what would happen with you and blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, everybody knew.
So is it supportive?
Everything I've gotten has always been supportive. I'm assuming that if somebody had something ugly to say, they just kept it to themselves. Actually, one of the guys that teased me the worst in high school emailed me about 2 years ago on Facebook apologizing for the way he had acted to me in high school.
Do you accept that apology?
I did accept it. It honestly made my day because we actually exchanged several emails back and forth, and he had no idea how miserable he made my life. Just him, like, by himself, made my life in high school, and it was great to hear that. You know, because hopefully he will teach his kids not to act that way.
So in Laurel, Mississippi, is he still there?
Yes, he's still there.
And he's married and has children?
I think he's divorced already. I think.
And you think that apology is sincere and that he does really feel bad?
I think, yeah, I mean, he did, you know, he sought me out. You know, it's not like I ran into him or something. He sought me out and, like, started up a conversation with me. So I think it was sincere.
Did you find out how he found you? Your name is different.
I'm pretty sure, like, you know, I come from a small town, so everybody kind of knows the name I go by now. That was something before I even moved out here it was kind of common knowledge. Everybody knows I go by Crystal now. So.
And so, how did you come up with your name?
Actually, my first time ever performing back in Mississippi, right before I went on stage, they were like, "Oh, you don't have a name," and I was like, "Oh, well, give me one." And one of the queens there, like the old schools, she gave me. We went through a few names and we decided on Crystal. Summers was not my original last name. I've changed that probably 4 or 5 times, but Crystal just always stuck. If I had to do it over again, that wouldn't be what I would go with. But,
what would you go with now?
I don't know. It's funny because the name I used to want was Bubbles, and it's funny that I ended up having that name in this movie because I used to want my name to be Bubbles.
Bubbles, because of champagne, not because you're so.
Because I'm bubbly.
Because you're so bubbly. When I was growing up, my childhood girl name was Susan Moriarty.
Oh my God.
And when I started doing drag, I didn't want my drag name to be Susan Moriarty because it was always my real girl name.
Right.
And so I was Heather Hardin.
Oh, I love that. That sounds so porno-ish.
And the very first time that I was brought out on stage, they called me Heather Hardon.
Oh my God.
And I went, okay, that's not going to work. But I was called Heather for a very long time.
Well, how did you transition from that to Edna?
Because it's all character-based.
Yeah.
And Edna Jean was a character that was created in Ardmore, and Edna is the one that stuck. But I was not called, no one in Texas knew me as Heather.
Yeah.
No one. But they called me Heather for a very long time in high school.
Oh my gosh. That's great. That's great.
So what is your favorite, when you go back to the transition from, church to start performing, did you have a sense of freedom? Did you have a sense of release? Did you have a sense of relief, or was there even more fear?
I'm not really sure what you mean by that.
Well, the transition from, being the church pianist, and now you're taping down you're softening your breasts, and I would assume you were still wearing male specific clothing to do that.
I didn't like that at all. That was.
Hiya, Bobby.
Well,
I felt disrespected to have to dress like that to go back to church. So.
And so when you started performing, did you have a sense of release?
Yeah, I guess I did. I just felt normal finally, like.
As a girl.
Yeah, like this was what I was always supposed to be.
You're listening to Just Keep Breathing. It's December 2nd, 2011. I am Richard Curtin. My in-studio guest today is Crystal Summers. For the third installment, we're going to talk about being transgendered, making the transition from male to female, and the do's and don'ts. We'll be right back.
Feel the glamour and pink. Kiss me here, touch me there, hanky-panky.
Hey, what's going on? It's Big E. Join me and the rest of the Outcasts every Monday through Friday night from 6 to 8 p.m. right here at RationalBroadcasting.com, where we discuss the important issues of the world from opinions that you may or may not agree with, but we don't care. It's our opinions. That's every Monday through Friday night, 6 to 8 p.m. on RationalBroadcasting.com. Make sure to join us, tell a friend about us, find us on Facebook, The Outcast Radio Show. And remember, we are The Outcast. We're so far left, we're all right.
Hey, Eric, want to know how to keep your meat from being carcinogenic?
My meat? Cindy, what are you talking about?
Eric, I'm talking about grilling here. How to grill healthier. You marinate your meat.
Oh.
What did you think? Join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for Alternative Health Talk with Cindy Freeling, 3 to 4 p.m. I talk about health issues in the news and give lots of tips for a healthier lifestyle.
You're listening to the newest innovation in progressive networking, RationalBroadcasting.com. While the French political right points fingers of blame, we point to rational solutions. While the neocons demonize progress and change, we embrace smart alternatives. While the obstructionists build walls, we work to build bridges. Welcome to the future of your progressive voice. Based in Dallas and streaming the globe, Rational Radio 2.0 is RationalBroadcasting.com.
She sounds so young.
No, I can't swig this
You're listening to RationalBroadcasting.com. My in-studio guest today for Just Keep Breathing, Crystal Summers. Are you a redneck woman?
No.
Let's play rifle questions again.
Hate that word.
What's your greatest pet peeve?
People that drive slow.
Anywhere or on the highway?
Anywhere.
Favorite song to perform?
Red Light Special, I think.
Are you college degreed?
Yes, I am.
What's your favorite book?
I love the Twilight books, actually. Sorry.
Do you have?
Sorry.
Do you have a favorite writer?
I don't know. I mean, I read such the popular stuff. So I mean, I like Dan Brown. Some of his stuff was really great.
Have you read Hunger Games?
No, Cassie gave me the book and I can't find it. It's lost somewhere in my house.
You have to.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
You're gonna love it. If you liked Twilight, you're gonna love Twilight. Biggie.
All right, Crystal, redeem yourself in my eyes.
Okay.
Team Edward or Team Jacob?
Edward.
Oh,
sorry.
I'm done with you.
I am too.
I'm sorry. I've always been Team Edward, though.
When is the last time you changed a baby's diaper?
Just a few months ago when I was home. I have a baby niece.
Do kids ever clock your gender?
No.
Who's your favorite who is your favorite entertainer?
Like in my profession or like
both?
Both. In my profession, I would have to say Maya Douglas. Period. I would probably say Lady Gaga.
New York City or Vegas?
Vegas.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh, wow. I don't know. I still plan on performing and entertaining. Hopefully, I will have dabbled in some more acting by then. I guess we'll see what opportunities come along between now and then. I also think sometimes about possibly going back to school. Not quite sure about that yet, but it's definitely a possibility going back and getting a master's degree.
And you have a degree in?
Marketing and business.
From UTD?
UTA.
UTA.
Yeah.
And you also have a real estate license?
I have an inactive real estate license.
And so do you find it important to always be in school?
I know that in this business I want to be able to bow out one day when my time comes. I don't want to be forced out. And
this business is female impersonation.
Yes, and I think that there comes a day when the crowd stops. I mean, I think you can go in this business for a long time if you take care of yourself and and you pay attention to what the crowd wants. But when the day comes, I want to be able to leave on my own terms. So
people ask me all the time, what is the difference between Crystal Summers and, say, Cassie Nova?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you're cheating at all in the drag world?
No.
And so, what is the difference between Crystal Summers in the day and Crystal Summers on stage?
Well, I mean, I'm the same person, like, both places, but, I mean, in the day, I'm just a normal girl, and at night, when I perform, it's a lot. I would never wear what I wear on stage around in the daytime. I don't wear fake eyelashes. I don't wear, all that makeup. There's also many dimensions to like what I do. I mean, a lot of nights I just wear my hair, but then there are nights when, I feature a mohawk or a colored wig or something like that. I mean, that's the beauty of what we do is like you can reinvent yourself from night to night.
And so the first time in drag,
Mm-hmm.
what was that experience like?
Oh gosh, it was so much fun. Like I just felt like I was me finally. It was. I can't even explain it. I remember like what I had on and everything.
What did you have on?
I had on like a little slutty black dress. It was Halloween, and this girl. I was in high school still, and this girl, she did my makeup. I looked awful. I think there's pictures somewhere of it, but she rubbed a little mascara on my eyes and put some lipstick on me and some CoverGirl pressed powder, and that was it. And then I had a full cap blonde wig on.
And you were a fish.
And you couldn't tell me that I wasn't the fishiest thing in the room. You couldn't.
How tall are you?
5'5".
And so has that been an asset?
Being smaller? I definitely think so.
You know, there are many transitioning people who are 6'5".
Yeah.
And very masculine. And you're not masculine at all.
I was very, very, very blessed. Like, that's why I try not to complain too much about the hand I was dealt in life, because it can always be worse. And, I was really blessed that, I can live my life every day without really having anybody stare at me or, make comments. So I did luck out in that department.
So do you think your transition was easy?
No, it wasn't easy, but I think it's easier than some people's transition. I think it's a lot harder for other people. I think it's easier when you do it early in life. I think it's harder for a lot of people because they wait so long, and they do it at such a late age or late time in their life, and I think it's definitely harder then.
When did you start transitioning?
17 years old.
And how did that transition start?
It started by I went to a doctor in New Orleans. I had met some girls, some other trans girls, and they took me and one of my girlfriends that was wanting to transition with me, and we went to a doctor and told him what was going on, and he just kind of wrote me a prescription for hormones and said, "Here, go." I mean, it probably could have done with some better advice than that, but at least I went to a doctor the first time, because then, like, years later, I started diagnosing myself and, like, buying hormones on the black market, which is not good.
And so when you say diagnosing yourself, what does that actually mean?
Well, I mean, it's taking hormones. It affects your body. It affects you mentally, emotionally, everything. And, I think you always need to be under a doctor's care, because there's a certain amount you're supposed to take every day. And, and you're supposed to stay on this cycle. And for so many years, I just did it when I felt like it. I would be like, oh, I'll go get a shot and just take it. And here, take it there, whenever I wanted. And you didn't know if you were taking too much, taking too little. You can't really know that because we're not doctors. So I think it's always best to, like, be under a doctor's care. Plus, it's bad for your liver and your thyroid, and they need to check that as well.
And so on Facebook, and I think on Twitter as well, in the last year, one of the things that you Facebooked or Twittered was that you have some regrets on silicone use, and you have cautioned people who are transitioning on the use of silicone and black market prescription drugs, or we'll call it motel room pumping.
Right.
And recently, we've got this woman in Florida who is pumping boys or young women.
Right.
And so talk about your silicone regrets.
That is probably the biggest regret and mistake I made ever, was getting any kind of silicone injected into my body. I did it, I think I was 19 the first time I got injections, and I did them first in my breast. I've since had as much as they can, I've had it scraped out. They can't ever get all of it. But, like, now, even around my implants, I have huge, like, lumps and knots, and, and it's hard to know whether that's cancer or whether that's from the silicone or what. I mean, I've still got to get all that checked, but, I have it in my hips and my butt, and I can't stand a certain way, or it's painful. I feel like it's fallen in my butt. It's just, it was a huge mistake. I wish I would have just waited and saved up the money, because I ended up spending the same amount of money that it would cost. Like, when I was getting my breast done, I ended up spending what I would have paid for a set of implants from a doctor in the long run. And then
you had to pay probably more,
yes,
to have it all scraped out and removed.
I had to pay more. And it damaged my, if you recall, the last time I had probably my last surgery on my breast, probably like 9 or 10 years ago, and I had to go back 2 or 3 times to have it redone because all the muscles around my breasts are destroyed from the silicone. So I kept having like dents in my breasts, and it was just a mess. Like, I mean, if I would have just waited and gone to a doctor, I feel like I wouldn't have had to deal with any of this.
And so, is that your advice?
Yes.
Is to wait? Is to be patient? Be under under the care of a physician?
With everything, with your body work, with your hormones, with everything. It's not worth it. I tell people that. I mean, I get emails probably weekly from people like on Facebook asking me about it, and I just talked with a girl last week, and hopefully I think I changed her mind about it, because she was going to she already had an appointment scheduled here in Dallas to go to one of the girls here to get some, and I told her, just please don't do it. You're going to regret it. And I don't know whether she did or not, but.
So do you consider yourself a role model?
I don't know if I consider myself a role model. I hope that, as far as, in the transgender world, for girls that are coming up and transitioning, that I hope that, I can help them and guide them and help them to make better decisions than I did, because I didn't really have anybody there to help me and tell me what to do. I kind of went into everything blindly and had to learn it all on my own. So I hope to be able to be there for them,
And so have you thought about some sort of open forum where you can be there for them?
No, I actually haven't. You're leaving me with that one.
I was hoping that you were going to indulge. So you talked about people contacting you on Facebook and on Twitter, probably. Talk a little bit about your first transition. What was your mindset when you first got your first your first surgery of implants?
Well, by the time I got my first actual surgery, I was already so full of silicone that it really wasn't. It was more a matter of just actually getting it done and getting it done right, because I was not happy with the results. I mean, I wasn't going to a doctor. It didn't look like I wanted it. By that time, I mean, I think the first surgery I had, I was probably 21 by that time.
Did you have fear with your family finding out?
After a certain point, I just didn't care anymore. I'm at a good place with them now, but early on, probably when I was 18 years old, when I just started transitioning, right after I moved away to Washington, D.C. with the guy I was seeing at the time. And my parents pretty much told me, if you do this, you're on your own. They gave me X amount of money and told me, this is what you're going to do with your life, do it. And I pretty much went and I left. And I was on my own for a while. So I really kind of didn't have any contact with them for a while. Probably when I was going through all of this process. So.
Do you harbor any anger toward them?
Not really. I mean, it's hard to still be angry at this point when things are so much better. I mean, there's still difficult times, but I mean, I blame it on the fact of where they come from, and they just didn't know any better. My dad finally had to take it upon himself to educate himself on what he was talking about, because he, for so many years was just the Bible says this, the Bible says this, the Bible says that. And I'm like, well, can you talk to a doctor and see that there's actual medical reasons why I'm the way I am, and stop just referencing the Bible all the time? And finally he educated himself, and it really turned his opinion of everything around after he educated himself on it. My mom's still working on it.
And so if anyone's listening that has a transgendered child, what's your greatest advice for them?
Just to always be there for them, because I mean, a lot of the bad decisions I made were because I didn't have any guidance. I didn't have anybody there for me. out of high school, I moved to New Orleans and started working on Bourbon Street. I probably did everything that you shouldn't do. And I got in with the wrong crowd down there and, got advice from a lot of the wrong people. I didn't have any family there or any friends that, were grounded to actually be there for me. So I made a lot of bad decisions during that time.
And I don't hear that you're blaming them,
No.
but do you think you would have made better decisions had you still had a strong family support?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think I would have done things like gone and gotten silicone injected into my body. If I would have been able to talk that through with my parents, they would have probably been like, "Are you crazy?" I needed somebody to pull me aside and say, "You are crazy for doing that." And instead, I was around people who were getting that done too. So they're like, "Yeah, let's go get pumped," So, yeah, I don't blame them though. They just didn't know any better.
Ticked Off Trannies with Knives. How much did that change your life?
It's changed my life some. Yeah.
It has.
Yeah.
You're a nationally known transgendered female.
Yeah.
And the movie still garners recognition, and it's still being played, and people are still recognizing you from the movie.
Right.
So, do you want to do it again?
I totally want to do it again. I think the biggest way that movie changed is it helped me because, having to do interviews and stuff, I had to talk about being transgender and all that. And that was something that was very, very hard and difficult for me. It's something I didn't like to talk about, like, out loud. And doing the movie, I kind of had to do that. So it's really helped me come into my own and be happy with myself and be okay with myself.
One of the very first interviews I saw you do, the interviewer, I don't remember who this was, kept on referring to you as him. And you didn't correct this person off the bat. Would you change that today?
Yes.
And are you a more confident female?
Yeah.
And is it hard for you to talk about being a boy at one point?
No, I mean, it's not really. It's who I am, and I'm proud of like where I've come, from that. And it's just, you're always gonna come across people that are ignorant, and that's the only place it gets hard sometimes is when you would think common sense would come over people and they would know how to talk to you and address you, and when they're just ignorant and make ignorant remarks, it's kind of hard. But that's just part of it.
Do you ever miss anything about being a boy?
Absolutely not.
Nothing.
Nothing.
I can't imagine being a girl.
Really?
Can't imagine it. It is not in my head. I am really a boy.
Yeah, it's something that it was never something that was, there was any middle ground. I always knew, and I've never second guessed that. That's the one thing I've never second guessed.
So you didn't have a childhood girl name?
No, I didn't.
You did not ever refer to yourself as a girl?
My given name goes on the line of it could go either way. So that's...
Yeah, it is very gender non-specific.
So, I never really had a problem with that.
And you legally have not changed your name?
No, I still use it, like, for legal reasons. My family actually still calls me by my legal name, which it really doesn't bug me, as long as the pronouns are right.
And so, what are you looking forward to?
I don't know. You've got me on a bad week to be asking me that. I've had a rough few weeks, so I don't know. I hope a new project of some kind comes along that's going to be challenging, because I am getting a little bored.
And how can we find you?
You can find me at the Rose Room on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, and at JR's on Mondays.
For Net Chicks on Demand with Erica Andrews.
That's right.
And we can find you on Twitter at Crystal Summers.
At Crystal Summers.
And Facebook is Crystal Summers as well.
That's right.
I want to thank you for joining us today and sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.
You've been listening to Just Keep Breathing on RationalBroadcasting.com. We're here every Friday from 3 to 4, and on Tuesdays it is the 10% Dallas at 3 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you.